Hello audience, welcome to the program State Affairs with Usama Khurshid. Audience, we will talk about today the quagmire of FATF in which Pakistan is lingering upon. Audience, we have witnessed a speculation that Pakistan is about to put on the grey list of Financial Action Task Force FATF. Let me tell you my audience that what is a FATF? FATF was formed in 1989 during the G7 summit to deal with the growing issues of money laundering. The task force at that time was charged with studying money laundering trends, monitoring legislative, financial and law enforcement activities taken at the national and international level, reporting on compliance and issuing recommendations and standards to combat money laundering. Audience, after 9/11, this watchdog extended its work parameters to terror financing and related funding of terrorist organizations. The FATF also works in close cooperation with a number of international and regional bodies involved in combating money laundering and terrorism financing. My dear audience, the dust has finally settled. Pakistan will be placed on the FATF grey list in June. It is now worth exploring what this means for Pakistan, particularly its economy, and the potential of this event to cause a shift in the counter-security and strategic paradigms. So let's start it. Audience, there was a mixture of speculations that Pakistan will be in that grey list, and this putting up in the grey list will squeeze its economy and make it harder for the country to meet its mounting foreign financial needs, including the potential future borrowings from the international monetary funds. It was also projected that grey listing could lead to a downgrade in Pakistan's debt rating, making it more difficult to tap into the international bond markets. Audience, in short, Pakistan will be in faltering and fumbling disposition after the month of June. Audience, let me break the paradox myth and traditional projections with the historical facts. Let's take a glance on the year 2012. Pakistan was on the list of FATF from 2012 to 2015. A period during which it successfully completed an IMF program and raised over $5 billion from the international bond markets. Now, it is pertinent to mention over here that during this period, Pakistan's import and export remained stable, evidence that the grey listing did not raise any significant barriers to trade. Now, let's discuss the dynamics of international arena. Audience, the FATF's decision is one of the several recent events that Pakistan should be concerned. Since coming to the power, the Trump administration has made a concerted effort to coerce Pakistan into ending its support of non-state armed groups such as the Haqqani network. Initially, Pakistan reacted nonchalantly to this shift in policy and released Hafiz Saeed, who is the leader of Lashkar-e-Taiba and the man India holds responsible for the 2008 terror attacks in Mumbai, from house arrest in November 2017. Now, according to the FATF documents, it states that member states voiced concerns that Pakistan had failed to honor commitments to act against the financing of the groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba prescribed by the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1267 made to the organization's International Cooperation Review Group IRCG in February 2015. Lashkar-e-Taiba chief Hafiz Muhammad Saeed as well as his aides Abdullah Ubaid, Malik Zafar Iqbal, Abdul Rahman Abid and Qazi Kashif Hussain were in January held under preventive detention clauses in Pakistan's anti-terrorism laws, just a week before the Paris plenary in what observes was saw as the last-ditch effort to stave off action by the FATF. Hence, the Trump administration created this whole fiasco for Pakistan. In response to that, Pakistan also mounted a last-ditch attempt to cement support from these traditional allies, including Saudi Arabia, China, and Turkey. To garner Saudi support, Pakistan agreed to send an additional 1,000 troops to Saudi Arabia, something it had refused to do in 2015. All of this proved to be too little too late, as only Turkey supported Pakistan at the FATF plenary. Audience, this is the time where I want to put the attention of the people who are sitting in the echelon of the state that it's the time to set the house in order. Please re-examine the relations with the traditionalist allies, China, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia, which during the initial phase of the meeting resisted that United States pressure to place Pakistan on the grey list should be condemned, but they withdrew their support during the final phase, allowing the motion to go through successfully, while Beijing was not accepted to abandon Pakistan. Its decision hardly comes as a surprise. Audience, now China's this decision may be taken as a clear reflection of its cost-benefit analysis with Pakistan rather than seen as the result of diplomatic pressure from India or any other state for that matter. On contrary, on the other side, it was United States of America which is the traditional and the biggest economic ally of China. Here, I want to quote Hans Morgenthau. Hans Morgenthau said that when we speak of power, we mean men's control over the minds and action of other men. By political power, we refer to the mutual relations of the control among the holders of public authority and between the latter and the people at large. Now, discussing this whole fiasco on domestic level, Pakistan must do the things under the carpet rather than open rebuttal against the United Nations Security Council norms and traditions. For instance, the strategy to mainstream the Lashkar-e-Taiba has not been abandoned. The Milli Muslim League MML, a political party associated with Hafiz Saeed, was launched last year. Now, the United States officials have also said that they have not seen any visible action by the Pakistanis against the Haqqani network and its facilitators. So, Pakistan has now entered into a phase where it has to not only submit an action plan against controlling terror fund at the body's next plenary in Paris in June, but also give a political undertaking that it would implement the steps. For doing that, Pakistan needs a robust team for the domestic and international arena. I am putting again the whole thing that it needs a robust team for the domestic and international arena. It's very compulsory, because if you will not be having a very robust team in the domestic and international arena, you cannot sustain the pressure. Now, the misery which Pakistan has faced from previous 5 years was that its foreign ministry was orphaned, as the ex-Prime Minister, Mr. Nawaz Sharif, was having the authority to himself. Now, it's time for Pakistan to chart out the strategy, where the competent foreign minister should foil the US bid and forged the strongest case to avoid the sanctions. The situation will be turned more perilous if the current government couldn't chart down the strategy to deal with this quagmire, because this government is completing this tenure after 2 months in May. On contrary, interim government couldn't be in a position to handle such delicate tasks on the international arena. The whole recommendations was concentrated for this FATF matter, but for longer term, Pakistan needs an international strong lobby and should not bank on the lousy and ineffective lobby who could not even sustain the traditional allies, which are China and the Gulf Cooperation Council, to stand by with Pakistan. We can saw that in the last moments of FATF, realpolitik came in play, but Pakistan must get ready to maneuver itself in such flagrant circumstances. I'd like to end the program with these 2 pertinent points. Number 1, there is a need of active, vibrant and proficient foreign minister. And number 2, the international lobbyist. If Pakistan will ace these 2 things, it won't be having such miseries again, and the history will revere Pakistan. That's it for today. Take a good care of yourself and your national affairs. Bye bye and fi amanillah.